Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and give us about 30 seconds before we start the webinar. Alrighty, we have a pretty good group in here, so let's get started. Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariela Salinas, and I'm a marketing specialist here at Educate 360. Welcome to today's webinar, Elevating Productivity with Copilot for Microsoft 365, presented by our fantastic New Horizons instructor for today, David Shaw. We are in Zoom for today's session, and we will be sharing a copy of this recording with you in an email after the webinar. We do encourage participation throughout the webinar, so please use the chat or the Q&A option for our short Q&A after the presentation. Educate 360 is so excited to present this webinar today, so without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, David.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending upon where you're at. My name is David Shaw. I am an instructor here at New Horizons, and today we are going to be talking about Copilot for Microsoft 365. What can we do with it? How does it work? And how can we leverage some of our data inside? So those kind of the bullet points, just having a understanding of how Copilot is set up in Microsoft in the background as well as in the foreground of what we see, and then learning how to utilize Copilot across different apps. We'll take a look at Word and PowerPoint, Excel and Teams and Outlook to see what we can do with Copilot there. And then lastly, leveraging our work data. How can we incorporate work data that we already have? You may have a long document and you want a summary. You have a outline for a presentation done in Word. How can I take that document in from Word and put it into PowerPoint and use branding templates? This is something that we can do. So we'll talk about all those topics, but first, Mariella asked me if we could do a poll. So this next slide is actually a poll that she has, and she's put it up there in the poll. If you could best describe your role or which department describes your role, she would appreciate that. Only going to be up
Awesome.
there a few seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go a little bit longer. We'll go about 30 seconds total. Thank you so much for all of your responses already. This is excellent. Gorgeous. Fantastic. Alrighty, and let's get those last minute ones in, and we're gonna go ahead and end the poll. Let's see what we got. Really interesting. Love that. IT, we got some human resources, some sales and project management. Love it. Thank you all so much for participating. I'll go ahead and stop sharing, and we will get right into this. Take it away, David.
All righty, great. So this is one of the first and only slides I'm going to show throughout the whole presentation, and the rest is going to be within the lab. But this is kind of got a lot of stuff going on. But in the central part is Copilot itself. So you'll notice right here in the middle area, the different rainbow colors, if you can see that, the blue, green, yellow, the cyan, the reds, oranges, and all that stuff, all the primary colors, if you will. That is Copilot. That's the central point, and it has a pre-processing that happens looking through the applications. So we have a back and forth, if you will. Number one, the user being able to prompt into a 365 application, say Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, Outlook, Loop. It also works there. OneNote, Mentioned Teams, whiteboard. I use a lot of the Microsoft whiteboard, has Copilot in it. These tools have a prompting area, whether we do it within the document itself or within a chat prompt off to the side. And once we do that, we're utilizing Copilot. Now, what it's doing is going through the large language model, or LLM, large language model, and it's getting that information, and it's breaking it down, if you will, to something that can be understood. And through the modeling, it goes out and gets the data through Microsoft Graph. So down there in the bottom left corner, talking about Microsoft Graph. Now, this is your content. This is a connection to your content. So again, data flow being prompting happens in the application. It's sent to Copilot. Copilot accesses the graph and the index or pre-processing. Then also Copilot sends a modified prompt back to the LLM, large language model. The Copilot receives a response. Copilot goes out to graph and the index again for post-processing, and it sends a response and app commands back to the app itself. You could almost think of this too as a longer, or not a longer, but a linear direction. We open up the application from a device, could be on your phone, could be on your tablet, and we process something, we put in a prompt into Copilot through the application. The Copilot then sends it on to Graph. Graph goes ahead and looks at it. Is it user based? Is it email based? Is it chat based? Is it document based? And then it goes and finds that information in the organizational information, the customer's 365 tenant, or the organization's tenant at that point. That's the way I like to look at it. This has got a lot of stuff going, but that's actually the background of it. So we have an instance of Graph happening, being the API, it happens at that particular point. We have the large language model, which is being hosted in OpenAzure, that is keeping that at Microsoft's level. We have the application of the license of Copilot on top of the license we have for 365. There are some other things in there, and if you are interested, I imagine that Mariella will get some other information to you about classes or where you can find that information out, about what the requirements are. There are some requirements to having Copilot. I noticed with a bunch of IT people in here, that's usually what they're trying to find out as well. So to give you an idea of how Copilot works overall, I do have Copilot set up, and here is inside of Microsoft Word, in this lab environment. Um, on the ribbon bar across the very top, I go ahead and select Copilot. And when I do that, a pane off to the side happens. Now, I don't have to have this to work with Copilot, because right in the middle it says select the icon, and I'll zoom in a little bit, select the icon or press Control I to draft. So when I click on this, it opens up a prompting dialog box. Now, because I don't have a pre-existing document at this point in time, I can go ahead and type in anything I want here. So bringing up some prompts, and I'll give you an example of one. I would like to have a marketing proposal. Maybe I'm working in marketing. Maybe this could be not a marketing, but a RFP. Create one of these for me. So when I put that into the prompt, I'm typing in drafting a marketing proposal. I can do a couple of things based off of another file. You'll notice that we do have the reference file button down below, and we have the ability to generate. Now, I can use 2,000 characters here in this prompt and go forward, but I'm just going to generate a generic prompt. Um, make me a proposal. There it is. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and put on the navigation pane so that you can see off to the side, this navigation pane. I actually have all the headers and whatnot within here. Now, in this particular case, within the prompt itself down here at the bottom, And if you need to, I'm going to zoom in. So don't be alarmed here, but it's going to zoom in and I'm going to show you the prompt. There are several areas of it. One is how many drafts do I have of this particular document? You can have multiple drafts because you can make changes for what you actually see. So as I'm reading up and down, scrolling up and down, looking this over, I go, hey, I'd like it to have a little bit more, or have it do this, or have it do that. So I can actually edit the draft or edit the prompt. I can have it edit the draft based on certain things I want to add to it. I can keep what I have. I can start this from scratch, or I can delete what we have altogether. And then if I have multiples, I can cycle through one draft to another. This is talking about being AI generated. It may be incorrect. So I will point out that if you're interested in prompting and setting Copilot up, that you specify to anybody, including yourself, trust but verify. Trust but verify. Because this is information that's coming from someplace, and I'm not quite sure where it's coming from at this point because I just drafted it and it's not giving me the referencing at this time. Also, Microsoft does want you to give feedback. We have a model out there, and models get trained based on the feedback. Was this a good response? Yes or no. It's not based on percentage. It's just a thumbs up, thumbs down. If there's something wrong with this that you don't like, give it a thumbs down and tell Microsoft why this wasn't correct. You can use the prompt, you can use the responses, any other documents you can let Microsoft see if you want to. You don't have to, but you give some response. And that way they get some updated information going forward. Let me zoom back out and go here. And what I want to do next is I want to take this and be a little bit more specific. So I have another prompt. I'll go ahead and put that in here and we'll edit this prompt. Instead of just drafting a marketing proposal, we'll go ahead and draft a marketing proposal for a particular company with a particular product. We need to generate 3 ideas for marketing campaign. There's nothing in here talking about a marketing campaign. It talks about marketing strategies and marketing objectives, but nothing about individual campaigns. So I'll generate again. And this will go ahead and put in the information about Contasso and also the cipher guard, which was the two pieces of extra information, as well as branching out campaign ideas about Contesto or the cipher guard product, unbreakable security, the your data, your priority, and so on. These are things that they're thinking about themselves. Now I have one more because I want to pull in a particular document this time. So I'm going to draft it one more time. This will be my third draft. I'm going to change the prompt up to draft a marketing proposal for Contasso's latest product, CipherGuard. We need to generate 3 ideas for a marketing campaign, which it did, using the product specifications and requirements. Where's that? Well, that's from a reference file. So if I click on the reference file, I can actually go out there and get the file. I can type in the file name. So Cipher. There we go. Product specifications should be this one. There we go. And now I've added a OneDrive file. By the way, this is only going to work if files are being stored on OneDrive. So they have to be cloud-based files for you to be able to pull these files in. If it's not on your desktop. If you open up a desktop file, then it can do the stuff in the chat, but it can't incorporate this information into your prompt here in the draft unless the document's on OneDrive. So let me generate again. There's the third draft. It's working on it. And now it's got the unbreakable shield and talks about the CipherGuard Sentinel X7. And these are key features. And it just keeps going on and on that where we have those three campaign ideas only at this point. So we've narrowed that down by adding to the prompt just a little bit more information, but we've also integrated this information into here. So that is one of the first types of prompting that you would do. The other options are to be able to go in and open up particular files. So again, if I have a file located somewhere, which I do, here is the 5-year financial results document. That's the results. I didn't want that one. I got the wrong one. Sorry. Let me try that again. We'll do a file open and we'll see what we got out there. I thought that was the document. Maybe that was it. No, should have been another document out here that I was looking for. Sorry about that. Here is that's the marketing campaign strategy. Oh, that's a table too. Why are they all coming up as a table? I gotta get the right one. Here's the marketing report for Munson's Pickles and Preserves Farm. We'll open up that one. So it is a 3 or 4 page document, and I'm going to open up Copilot. So I have a document that's opened, and now what I want to do is I want to summarize this document, doc in 3 key points. So over in the chat on the right-hand side, I can go ahead and summarize the document. I can go ahead and send it, and it will go ahead and give me a summary that I can now take and put at the end of the document itself. So there's 3 bullet points: company background, growth, planned market expansion, marketing strategy. Now I can take this and copy it to a new document altogether if I want. Just do a nice quick copy and paste. That's a summary, or I could have attached it at the end of the previous document and made its own page. So these are some of the things inside of there. So rather than reading long documents, say 20-page documents or PDFs or any other types of options there, I can now take an existing document, put it into Word, and get a summary right off the bat. It eliminates me having to read the whole thing and now pull out key pieces of information. Microsoft will go through with Copilot and find out what those key pieces of information are, organize them for me so that I can use them in other areas if necessary. So using the prompts, going through and building out those prompts one at a time using existing documents that we already have. I can create other documents, or I can get summary information or information about existing documents if necessary. So one of the things I want to do, and I like to show this in classes, is actually using the prompt, because not only can I use internal information like we had, but that marketing proposal was actually using the first draft that we had was actually using stuff from the web. And that's what I could do here. So I'm going to have one here. I thought I had it here. I don't. So I'll go ahead and type it. A blog post, a blog post about the history of baseball. And I can generate that. And this will literally go out to the internet, get information, and bring it back. The origins, the early precursors, baseball in America, the birth of Major League Baseball, the early stars and legends, golden base area of baseball, integration and expansion, global challenges, modern era, all that stuff. It's already done for me. And all I have to do is now save this document, which, by the way, is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and save this document. I got content in a Word document. I'm going to save it on OneDrive. Call this one a blog post. I'm going to save it because my next thing is going into PowerPoint over here into a blank presentation using Copilot to create a presentation from file. And now I can go ahead and say blog post. There's the file. And in a couple seconds later, I should now have a PowerPoint with multiple slides. Oh, and a theme to it and pictures incorporated into it. In fact, those are all my slides being generated right now. Adding speaker notes from my Word document and pulling that over. So going from Word, creating a document in Word, taking a Word document and creating something over here in PowerPoint. There's the history of baseball. There's the early years, again with the crickets and stuff. Here's the next one, medieval precursors, and going all the way to baseball goes global. Here is international competitions and advances. It's already done for me. I did not have to copy and paste from Word to PowerPoint to create this particular document. I didn't have to save it as an outline, which is something we could do, but I have to save it over there to actually generate it here in an outline format in Word and try to design this going forward. And if I wanted to, I can start a new presentation, file new on a blank one using Copilot and create a presentation about outdoor activities in Arizona. Generate the slides for me. Adding the titles. Should be finishing up, hopefully. Generate content. And there's my presentation. That slides where I want normal. There we go. Even brought in some pictures. And yeah, this one's not as good, but it's a great starting point for something that I'm not sure of what I want to talk about. So generating that outline about a topic, I can put that in here and then go ahead and um, add that to my presentation. So a couple different ways of doing that. Now, the other one I wanted to do was in Excel. So opening up Excel, I can open up files in Excel. Here's the Contaso Chai tea sales. This again is a table. And when I open up Copilot in here, I got a couple of different things I can do. I can analyze the document. I can understand it, create formulas. So I can actually have Copilot actually add a new column to this if necessary. And I can generate different items. So there's inserting a new column, the sales percentages. I can now go back and ask it to understand. It will go ahead and create the chart for me and go ahead and let me add that to a new sheet. There's the chart, sales by dates. There's the pivot table already done. And if I go into the more prompts, I should be able to understand where I show insights about the data. It should show all of them. Because I'm not on the right page, David. There we go. Should show data insights. I think it'll have quite a bit on here. Oh, there's another one. Another chart. Sales by percentage. All right. So that is Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can do the same thing in Teams. There's a chat. You can actually draft in Outlook. So starting up Outlook real quick. When I go ahead and create a new email, I have the ability to allow Outlook to, that's weird. It should have showed up, the Copilot. There we go, drafting with Copilot. So I can actually allow it to coach or draft from here, and I can attach documents at that point. So I think we ran out of time, and I know that there are some questions in there, and I don't know if you have other questions, Morella.
Hey, David. Yeah, we actually, just before we get into Q&A, I wanted to speak a little bit, and I just threw a link in the chat. I wanted to let our audience know that this is a New Horizons exclusive benefit for attending this webinar. We do have a link here for a digital achievement badge for a Microsoft MS 404 course, or I'm sorry, 4004 course. I went ahead and dropped that link in the chat, and if you're unable to redeem that badge right now, or you're watching a recording back of this webinar, you can still gain access to the free badge with the link you'll receive in the email after the webinar, so be on the lookout for that. Alrighty, so I saw we had another couple of questions that came through in the chat. Stephen had one here. If two different users create a blog post on baseball, will the results be identical?
50-50 chance. And I say that kind of with a smile on my face, but it is kind of a 50-50 chance on that. I've noticed when we've done this through classes that with multiple students, we'll get different results. One of the things with Copilot that you'll have to understand when you're working with these prompts is that depending upon how somebody writes it, they may be asking for the same thing, but not typing it the same way. So you may end up with different results. It's a trial and error. You're going to have to iterate, 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 and Microsoft specifies doing that. And I wholeheartedly believe that you have to try one way and then try it again to get identicals. When you're talking about the getting out to the World Wide Web, it could be different information. When you're talking about business data, that's going to be more towards what you have access to. So I hope that answers that question, Stephen, about those results. We hope that everything's equal, but again, it just depends upon the users and how they type that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the prompts, how you initiate the question, I bet you that has a lot to do with it. We had a couple more questions, and so sorry in advance. We want to be mindful of everyone's time if we're not able to get to everyone. So we did have another really great one here, though, from Amanda with PowerPoint. Where do these images come from? Are they copyrighted from Microsoft?
Microsoft is really good about using or searching for through, say, like a Bing search. If you were inserting graphics into Word or PowerPoint or any other tool, one of the Office suites, that it pulls in creative content, and you can actually unselect that so that it only pulls that in or it has all of them. You do have to be mindful of copyrighted images. So if there is a copyright, it's pulling it from the internet, whatever it's finding that's associated with the topic that's on the PowerPoint itself. And there was another related one, just real quick, so we don't lose out. I think Kathy had mentioned something about the company standard templates. If you start with a company branded template, You can then generate your content to that template itself. That is how you can do that. Or you can start with a blank one and apply the company template to the generated content.
Excellent, excellent. That's good to know. All righty, I'll leave us with one question, and then I'll give everyone a good out. One more. Can Copilot read my emails and give me action items to follow up on?
Yes, it can. It can look that goes back to the graph. It's looking in your emails, it's looking in team chats, it's looking at you can look in meetings and teams. There's not really good setup that I have, but you can actually take transcripts of meetings that you may have missed, or you can there's a way of doing catch ups. If you come late, somebody can make a catch up based off the transcript. So you have to record the meeting and then you have to also set the transcript up for the meeting as well. And that's not by default. So that's one of the things in Teams that people are going to have to get used to is making sure that the transcript's turned on and the meeting's being recorded to get those summary information. But it can look through Teams chat. It can look through private chats that you have with other people, and it can look through emails and meeting chats.
Or just, yeah, it's basically your little personal assistant. I love that. That's really good info to have too moving forward. And just in the essence of time, I'll end it there. Thank you all so much for your amazing questions, and thank you so much, David. This was a lot of really fantastic info. And if any of our audience needs any more info on this topic, please do not be afraid to visit us at newhorizons.com. Or again, like if you want to get that badge, you can go ahead and click that link in the chat. And I saw a couple questions about the recording. If you missed out on any part of the session, we will be sharing this recording with all of you in an email after the webinar. So be on the lookout for that if you weren't able to attend the full session. Thank you again, David.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you all very soon. Have a great day. Bye.